Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taras Johnson. My channel is TMNJ. This video is me talking about me. I realize that it's 2022 now. We're in the age of Aquarius, where brilliance and enlightenment and new understanding is coming about. And I was like, we're in this new age, right? How about I speak about myself? You know? I'm like always, speaking about tarot or how to change your life, um, psychedelics, the deities, all these different things, all these different areas. But I was like, you guys, I feel like you should know more. Sorry if my hair looks so odd right now. I don't really take much time as I should towards making it look all pretty, but I like it like this anyway. um, yeah. So this video is about just me, because I want you guys to know more about me, you know? Um, so first I'll say I'm 19. I'm a Scorpio moon. My bad. I'm a Scorpio sun, a Gemini moon, and a Pisces rising. Inside their astrology, mind you, and tropical. I think I'm Aquarius, Sun, Libra, rising, and Gemini moon, if I'm not correct. I think. I am not entirely. I forget. I have it in one of my journals though. Yeah, I'm Jamaican. I can speak very different languages. Um, by that I mean not just English. I'm studying Japanese. Um, I love all different languages. Anything that's not English, I love. Yeah, Spanish, I'm not really too keen on though, but it's it's a process. um, but I can speak different languages, as in inhuman languages. Um, I can speak Elven. Yes, elves do exist. I can speak Merma, which is basically mermaids are not called mermaid; they're called Merma. They literally have their own name for themselves, so they're not called. We say they are. Their language is difficult, even for me. How I'm able to speak their languages because in my past lives I used to be a mermaid and merma and an elf and various different creatures. So I can speak their tongues quite well. Elven is not as difficult as merma, and then there's Fomorian, which is from a completely different universe that I can speak as well. Um, Hold on. Ikanas Jivikan Italak Afu. There's a bit of Elven in that. A little bit of Elven. It's kind of difficult. Fomorian sounds like a bunch of different tongues. And combined into one, right? Like a bit of German, Russian, Japanese, and some other tongues mixed in. Elven is, hold on, Ishtukunita e Ukai Anostinai Buros. So, Infomorian is a lot rough on the tongue, more aggressive, and Elven is a lot more fluid. It's kind of like how they say some languages, like for example, Japanese is a lot more fluid at times, and Chinese is more aggressive of its speech. Well, some people think that. um, um, but yeah, so I can speak these different languages. Given my past lives, I'm very adept in my connection with my inner being. Um, but to get more to myself, to really explain how I am as a being in general speaking, um, I'm an October baby. I'll say that. Late October, not November. um, I have two brothers. Excuse me. Mm. sheesh. One older who's like his age doesn't matter, and a younger brother as well. My older brother is like maybe 3 years apart from me. My younger brother is like 5 to 6 years apart from me. I really don't know what my mom was thinking when she did that. Couldn't tell you. Guess his soul was just like, nah, this is the time for this. But yeah. But to continue on forth, I journal a lot. I'll say that. Well, not as much as I used to. I used to journal so much compared to how I do now. Doing a lot of shadow work. I literally, I'll tell you guys, I preach it. Shadow work is so good to do. Healing is lifelong, but doing journaling, whenever you need to do it, is like incredibly good to do. Literally, it's always been, always will be. And people who don't comprehend shadow work and journaling, um, I oblige for and recommend for all of you to literally just comprehend when it goes towards what it is. Because even for me, I'm not gonna lie, I thought journaling was some bullshit. Like, I don't like cursing, no, but I'll be honest. I thought journaling was some BS. I thought it was irrelevant. I thought it was inconsistent. I thought it was girly until, and not masculine until I tried it out myself and I was like, huh, this is actually pretty nice. um, I besides that, yeah, got into journaling, heavily do that. Got into that like what 2 years ago when I turned 18. Um, I love to draw sometimes. I used to be a heavy smoker. I'll be honest with you guys, I did. I used to be a heavy smoker. Uh, until like, but I had to comprehend that when it comes down to certain things you do, these habits that you take into mind that you feel are for your progression are usually habits that you develop from other friends around you or other people around you who do these things all the time. So, for example, my mother used to preach to my grandfather about not smoking cigs, and now she smokes cigs. And I remember I asked her, I was like, "Yeah, why do you smoke cigarettes so much?" And she said it's like a need, and I'm like, "It's not a need, it's a want." And I was like, "Are you just too used to it?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's not a good thing, man. Given it's incredibly unhealthy for you." Um, but to continue on forth, when it comes to my family, I will say that I'm bi, but my family does not know that yet. um, as a Jamaican family, the culture is very I wouldn't say conservative, but it's just rough. They they did not. If you're not straight, if you're not into women, if you're a guy, if you're not into girls, if you're not into if you're not into women, if you're a guy, if you're not into men, if you're a woman, you are looked at differently in Jamaican culture. It's really sad. But the only good part about Jamaican culture is the concept of their very witchcraft and voodoo and all those mystics um, arts are heavily looked at and not looked down upon whatsoever in the Caribbean islands. So, I guess part of my soul coming into this domain and having me be Jamaican and Jamaican family, knowing that I'm like into both women and men to a certain degree, is like my soul being like, you're this is gonna be a pain in the ass for you, but you got this because you're gonna be very powerful. Right? But yeah, so that was something that really was interesting to me that I had to comprehend. I was like, oh, interesting. Very, very interesting. um, but to continue on forth, I will say my childhood was not the best. And my apologies if you guys are hearing the background noise. That's my little brother gaming. I can't help that. I do this video when like he's not awake, but like This is like when I chose to do it. um, but to continue on forth, I'll say through my childhood, it was no one's life, no one's journey is easy. Well, yeah, no one's journey is easy. Absolutely no one's journey is easy. Never will be. The concept of things being easy does not exist. It's just the concept of things you have to put effort towards and things you don't have to put that much effort towards. That's all that there is. Easiness isn't a thing. You play a game on easy mode. It's not the concept that it's so easy to get done. It's the concept that you don't have to put so much effort towards doing it as you would on normal or hard or veteran. Simply. So yeah, with my life, my childhood, I should say, I should say, I was bullied for a vast period of time. I'll admit it, I was treated differently because one, my teeth, um, they were very spread out, and people used to call me piranha because how spread out my teeth were. Um, and plus I used to play my, I used to play my mouth a lot. I mean, a lot. Because I just had so much energy to use and do, and like, just a lot of excess energy, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I just would play my mouth a lot and just bite spoons. Like my teeth used to be these two teeth used to be like probably like right here, definitely longer than they are right now. But due to me taking spoons, I remember literally being in elementary school back in like third, fourth grade, and like literally getting spoons from the cafeteria whenever I'd be at lunch, and just gnawing on them. I mean, like literally gnawing on them. I don't even know why. I think I just did it because I just like to chew on things to a certain degree. Um, yeah, I was bullied because of my teeth. I was bullied because I was just different from everyone. I wasn't like everyone. I was more like to myself. I watched anime, which no one watched. I was just playful and just me, and everyone was just the entire opposite. Like everyone was either straight faced or just glum or just serious as hell or not, just like no inner childness, like just nothing, just like wow, like I just was like what the hell. Like I left my childhood home, my grandmother's house, and came into the country because I used to be in the city, and everything changed, and I was just like, what the hell? I used to sing until I came to the country, and then I just sang in front of my class, and they looked at me like, what the hell is he doing? And I was like, oh, okay, that's not the feedback I wanted, but I guess it'll do. And then after that, I just stopped. Well, I stopped towards them. I didn't stop towards singing at home. But I remember me trying to get my mom to record me because that's when Justin Bieber became big, and she just wouldn't do it. She just would be like, "You gotta write a song, you gotta have your lyrics down," and I was just like, "Lyrics, song? I'm gonna just do things from like just flowing with it. Like, what the hell?" And my mother just was just not doing it. It just wasn't happening. I guess it just wasn't meant to happen then. Um, but yeah, after that, it was just yeah, you're like just being the new kid around all these people, kids that have like grown up with one another since preschool, was yeah. I'm so sorry for that. I can't even. I don't want to yell and tell him to shut up because I don't like yelling or screaming or raising my voice at all. But in basics, though, um, yeah, no, I know there was a huge differentiation when I was a new kid coming, like being in school. Everyone being like, "Are you so and so? Where are you from? How old are you? This and that and this." I think a big concept for me was them asking for a period. It was for a period of time, not just for in elementary school. For a period of time, everyone was like, "Are your parents mixed? Is your dad white or is your mom white?" And I was like, "No." parents are both black, and they just looked at me like, what? And I was like, yeah. And I guess they were asking because the one individual amongst my class was like, his mom was white, if I'm not correct, and his dad was black. So they were like, is that what think how things are for you? And I was like, no. And then another issue that came about was me not having the same last name as my mother, given her last name is Miller, and me being Johnson. So created some issues too, because people were like, why doesn't your kid have the same last name as you? And I guess they were not used to the concept of couples not being married, I guess, in the area. They're used to every parent, every family having some sort of marriage bond, whatever the hell, and so on. So yeah, that was a huge concept, which I'm not gonna even look at my mother towards those factors. That's she chose to do what she chose to do. Screw it. And plus, when it comes down to things, I'll say it in truth, you do not need to have a wedding ring or have the same last name as your person to know to be like married, quote unquote, to each other. That's not necessary. Should not ever be necessary, whatsoever. But to continue on forth, yeah, my childhood I was bullied for being different, bullied for my I was not the fittest person when I moved. I was very fit when I was younger. I became more fat, I guess you could say. I began to put more weight on. My hairline was also something for people to make jokes about and bully me about. So that was something that used to be called LeBron James all the bloody time because my hairline was apparently that bad. And I just was like, okay. But when I think about it now, it's the concept people just didn't have anything else to do. They just wanted something to do. Picking on me was like, okay, this makes it so that we're not bored. um, and I guess because they weren't feeling good within themselves as well, because that's usually what kids do when they're, yeah, as well as what they're taught that hey, picking on other people when you don't feel good within yourself, which is usually a parent imprintation thing. um, as well as older siblings teaching them that, so that's something as well. Um, but continuing on towards my own journey, yeah, through elementary school, it was just hell, like repeated bullying, not just from just being in the classrooms, but outside, recess, and even on the bus. It's just horrible, in truth. Um, yeah, it wasn't the best. There were a few people who I was around who didn't try to do anything towards me, who were just cool with me naturally, but others were just horrible. I mean, like horrible. Um, I feel like some kids looked at me as the concept of if you didn't have what they had, you were lesser. And I just was like, what kind of mentality is that? And then I have to comprehend at times from your past lives, you do carry traits that say if you're a rich person in past life years, you may look down on people in this lifetime, not knowing that it's because of other lifetime experiences. That those personality traits are still carrying into your lifetime, your current one. So that was a huge bummer. Um, but yeah, no, I was bullied for a vast period of my journey, and it wasn't. I cried a lot. I'll be honest with you guys. I did cry a lot. I suffered a lot. I did, in my own perspective. I know others have suffered more than me, though. That's damn sure. Um, but yeah, no, I suffered a lot in my point of view. I remember crying a lot. I remember getting home one day. I remember getting home a lot of the time, and just I created an imaginary world, an escape for me of a sort, because I just couldn't stand this reality. I could not stand feeling so alone. I couldn't. So, and plus, my mother never understood me when I was younger, ever. I think I tried to speak to her on something because I was just being so horribly bullied in middle school. And she just, she made me smile. And I guess my guides as well, my being, were like, did she just try to make us smile when we're crying and upset? Did she just do that? And I had not known that my being did not like being made to smile when upset. It just likes to, release the negativities, the impurities within my being, and just then could get to like a level of peace and clarity and calmness and so on. Like when she made me smile, my own mother, that's when I just stopped talking to her about anything and everything. Like she stopped knowing about me in general. Like you, everyone says every mother says like I know my child, or every dad says I know my son or I know my daughter. When I'm sorry, a lot of the parents that exist in this point in time don't know a damn thing about their kids in general speaking. Like a lot of parents do not know about their kids in truth, don't comprehend their kids' feelings and emotions to a certain degree, really don't know their children at all. Like my mom did not know me until what, 17, 18? Nah, probably like 19. Yeah, 18-ish, 18 and a half, 18 and a half, I'd say. And that's throughout my entire lifetime. That's throughout my good amount of my journey. So that's something to comprehend. I didn't start opening up to her until like after I broke up with my ex. Well, after me and my ex broke up, I didn't start talking to her about my being until, yeah, later on. Um, but to go on forward, yeah, no, it was after that I stopped opening up. After that, I closed myself up towards her entirely, and she just, mind you, I remember my family would always ask me, "Are you okay?" This and that, and this. I'd say, "Don't, like, there's nothing. Don't worry about it." And I remember when I was being emotional once, they I think I screamed at them or said something towards them that's like, "Yo, y'all didn't try hard enough. Like y'all just went towards, okay, he's not gonna talk to us about it. He's got it. No, that's not what you would do." I just remember saying to my mother, "I am a person that requires persistence. If you want me to get whatever the hell out of me, you have to be persistent about asking me what the hell is wrong." Like I was that sort of kid. I was stubborn as hell, yes, but also like no, you have to be very persistent about it. If I don't trust that you'll comprehend what I'm dealing with and going through, I will not release what I'm feeling towards you at all. And that's how it was towards her, because I knew she wouldn't be able to comprehend such things and such understandings, because her childhood was entirely different than mine. My brother's childhood was entirely different than mine. He's more like my mother than I am to a certain degree. So is my little brother. So yeah. Um, but to continue on forth, what happened is what that stuff occurred. The bullying kept on going. Yeah, no, my dog actually, through the bullying, my dog was my best friend. Rexy, his name is, was my best friend, and we connected on a level that I didn't connect with any other human on. I've never connected with any other human on level that me and him connect on. Not even my ex, who was the love of my life for a period of time. Not even the current girl I'm talking to. Not even my own mother, or my grandmother, or my siblings. The connection me and my dog had was like no one else. Um, he was there for me through a vast period of my life. A vast period of my life. I remember a night where I was crying so heavily. Oh my God, it was so bad. And I did not know that animals could like absorb your energy. I didn't know that at all. I know they had such higher receptors of feeling energy and like, being able to see things and, well, not things, but like beings and energy and like being able to feel people's vibes and all these different things. I didn't know about any of that until I evolved. Um, but yeah, no, I was holding him for such a vast period of time, like literally holding him and just crying, and he just was there for me throughout the entire night. No one else knew. No one else knew. And by the time I was done crying, I was like playing Xbox, I think, and I was like done. And I was just like bawling my eyes out because I just felt so lonely. Like I felt kind of off that I had no friends really in school, and that the friends I didn't make were online friends. And I was like that technically quote unquote, like from what my brother and my mother were saying, that's not normal, quote unquote, but then I had to comprehend their normal is different from my normal. Might not comprehend that later on in time. Um, but yeah, no, it was incredibly disturbing for me. And I just, it was bad. And by the time I was done crying, I just went ahead and what happened? He was shaking. Sorry, I'm like remembering, like going back into that time period. He was like shaking, like literally when I was like done, and I was like, I gotta go to bed now, boy. Like, I was like, I'm done crying. I gotta go to bed now, and I didn't want to leave him though. But it was like 1 in the morning, and I was like, I need to get to sleep, and I just put a cover over him and was like, good night, I love you. And he was just on the couch, just relaxing, and yeah, that's when, yeah, yeah. That's when I just, was, I comprehended our relationship deeper in depth. It's the first time my grandmother had gotten him. I Obesan had gotten him. Obesan is Japanese for grandmother, by the way. Um, First time she'd got him, and he came into the house, my grandmother's house. I just saw his little body underneath the couch that my grandmother had before she remodeled things. And I just was like, when I looked at him, it was like an automatic connection. Like I just knew him. Like I think we shared each other for like a good couple minutes. And then it was just like, but then everything felt still after that. Like nothing, no sort of other, like my family was around, yes, but it's like everything else was muted, like inaudible. And it was just me and him, a straight eye contact. And I mean, he was looking around to a certain degree, but I was just staring at him like, who are you? Because it was like I could just feel like I knew him. And later on, I came to comprehend that me and him have been connected for like various past lives. Like they say at times that your companion, your pets, are sometimes they will stay with you for vast lifetimes. So like you two build a connection, and you two like their soul has its own frequency. Your soul has its own frequency, but they're like your protector, your guardian of a sort, right? And I came to comprehend that he's my guardian. He's my protector. Of all individuals, he's my protector, which is why our connection is so immense. Like he's my dog has bitten people, family, my brothers. He has barked at my brothers. He has in my rest of my family. He has growled at my brothers and the rest of my family. He's growled at me every now and then, but not in the way he's done it towards my brothers and the rest of my family and friends as well. He's more, I guess, passive aggressive towards me to a sense, and towards other people, just aggressive. um, and the funny part is, I'm the only one who can literally pet him without him really trying to bite after me like that. I'm the only one who can hold him, like I mean, lift him up in my arms and walk with him, and him not have any sort of like panic attack or go off or anything like that. I remember there was one time where he actually laid on my chest, and I just was like, "Oh, this is lovely." um, but yeah, mind you, I'm allergic to like everything, even dogs, and yet I still like. I'm like, all right, cool. We have like a best friend relationship. um, but let me continue. um, but yeah, besides my dog, though, yeah, no, for a period of time, I was just being bullied. Even in high school, it didn't get better. Actually, I had a friend of mine, Dakota, whom he was. We decided to go towards naming ourselves Shaggy and Scooby, because that was like our relationship at the time, and it was nice. It was. I got to be wild and do as I pleased in high school, in the hallways and in class, and this and that and this, and just enjoy myself to a certain degree. Not really being myself entirely, mind you, given it was like, yeah, I given I had my own abilities and all, and I was aware of my abilities. My grandmother had said if you speak about your abilities to anyone, you'll be put in like some sort of psych asylum for crazy people. Like don't tell anyone you can do what you can do. And I guess because like from her time, people who had these abilities to do things, hear voices, with hearing voices, people say it's schizophrenia, but I'm not gonna lie, schizophrenia practically is you being between dimensions in my perspective. Because literally, there are various beings beyond the 3D and 4D. The 5D, the astral plane, literally consists of various beings, demons, angels and other higher beings that literally spirits, ghosts, all the whatever the hell you want to call it, and so on. So like when you're hearing voices, like for example, when someone says they hear their guides, your guides. Oh my god, damn, he's so loud. I think I was I really that loud when I was younger. I know I gained a lot, but like, dang. No, I mean I'm gonna get to that in a second. No, but yes, when your guides are on the 5D, um, and beyond that. And when it comes down to it, some people are able to hear their guides through their minds. Some people are able to communicate with their guides through tarot cards or oracle cards. Some people are able to communicate with their guides through imagery. So like through images, say like by watching a certain movie, a certain show. Some guides communicate with their people by sending you animals and bird and insects and whatever creatures. Excuse me. Some guides communicate by energy, which what I mean by energy is crap. Hmm. It's like, you know what? It's like it's not. It's like when you're watching a movie, for example, and like you begin to feel certain energies around you that aren't really yours. In a sense, I don't know how to really describe it, but I know what I'm seeing, like visually speaking. So it's like feeling different energies that aren't yours, and knowing the energies aren't harmful. So it's like your guide's kind of showing you that they're present, in a sense. But there's other ways of explaining that I'm not gonna get to. Um, but yeah, and when it came down to things, oh yeah, also your guides can speak to you through music. So if you basically tell your guides, okay, what music is for me to listen to for the day, or hey guys, control my music. So what do you think I should listen to, or what do you think I should hear? Um, they literally, if you put your playlist on shuffle, you'll literally begin to not hail, hear different songs that go towards your energy, and you'll probably be like hearing one song that's like, why is it so sad though? And then like part of you will be like, but listen to the message that's being given. Literally, your teen doesn't really care about how sad or how hype it sounds. They care about the message that comes with it. Well, sometimes they care about how hype it is. Sometimes they do. Sometimes. Wait, my bad. Sometimes. um, but yes. Now, let's see. Getting back to me though. Uh, Sorry. Getting back to me though. Yeah, no, Dakota. He was my best friend for a while. Um, I was jealous, or not jealous. Was I? Yeah, no, I was envious. Um, Not because of him, because of the women he attracted towards him. I was so throughout my journey, I was incredibly fond towards women, of course. Towards men kind of as well. It varied on that spectrum. That was kind of like looking a guy up and down, but like not really, and like kind of imagining things sexually maybe, or in some sort of derogatory way, but not trying to do anything like that. Well, I'm not going to speak on my dark past. um, but basically, yeah, and what? Ooh, so I'm trying to go back, way back. Um, and towards women, it was just the clear, obvious guy stuff. Uh, but for me, it was more. I throughout me growing up, I was always a child, whom hormones were like a thing for me even before they said, okay, you're supposed to be going through puberty at like 12 or 10 or 11. I think I read in a health book that you go through puberty at like 9 for guys, and I was like, what? It's like it was a 9 or 10, I forget which one. And I was like, all right, okay, cool. I never saw a history, but I never saw the health book ever again where the lines literally said guys go through puberty at like 10. I never saw that line ever again. I saw it one time, which was the funniest thing ever. I looked back. It was funny. It was funny. I was in class one time. I looked back to see the health book to see, just to make sure I wasn't tripping. And I didn't see the words that I read before, like some time ago, and I was like, it doesn't make any sense. And my inner being was like, maybe you misread it, and I was like, no, I read that clear as day. It said that. And then in my mind, as I was reading it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, it said something like as early as 10, as late as 12. And I was like, yeah, that makes entire sense. Yeah. Um, but but yeah. Um, so to continue on, um, I was always in touch towards women at a very young age. I think my dad had said when I was younger, he took me out one time, and a female friend of his he was around, he was talking to, I was like outside the car, and I said to her, your lips are very soft, or they look very soft, or they are very pretty, or something like that. And she looked at him like, this is your son. And he was like, yeah. And I was just, and like when he reminded me what happened, I was like, was it bad to say that? Like, I don't, was that a bad thing to say? But again, I was always very heavily attracted towards women, always like in a way that you wouldn't necessarily see most kids looking towards women at all, like at all. Well, guys, well, little boys, that is. I was more like I was enticed in a very grown way. I was like, I remember I had seen my uncle uncle and my older brother were watching an anime, and in the anime it was this blue dude with like I think some sort of black hat on, like in probably like the Japanese period, like a Japanese anime if I'm not correct. Well, of course it was Japanese anime, but more so like the Japanese Edo period times, like back when the imperialism ruled, heavy, heavy swords, katanas, all that jazz, samurais, all that good stuff. It was a concept, heavier concept, and in the show, I remember just a glimpse of it because they weren't allowing me to see much of it. And I think I wanted to go just do something else after, because I wanted them to rewind what was occurring, and they wouldn't do that. So I was like, I'm just gonna go about my day. And the blue dude, he was like a blue muscular, well, bluish aquamarine probably. Well, hold up a second. What did you aquamarine? Jade. That's the color I'd say. Um, and what happened is, as the blue bluish green. Well, as a jaded colored looking dude was screwing the Kunoichi, as I guess she was, because he was going to kill her otherwise. Um, I was very enticed. Like I was seeing what was occurring, and I was like, huh. And it really grabbed my attention. And I was like, I like this. I'm like, I'm curious. I like what I'm seeing. and, and you don't really catch. I was like maybe five or six or seven, five, six or seven at least. And I was like, this is nice. I like seeing this. What is that? Like I was really fascinated by it. Like I was really curious. I like most kids would be like, huh, and just wouldn't really bat an eye, wouldn't really care about it like that. I was really interested and was like, I really wonder what's going on right now because he looks like he's enjoying himself to whatever degree, with whatever the hell was going on. And see, I think that was when I first comprehended I was a very sexual person. And more mature than I thought for like my age of 6 or 7 or 8 years old. So that was something for me to comprehend at an early age. Going forwards, I was always a romantic person. Always been a romantic person. Um, Throughout my journey, I would I've talked to various women, of course, but they sometimes I really think that I was born before, like ahead of my time, ahead of my like age. Cause like I'm sorry, the women I was talking to, it was like it was as though I was like a 40-year-old man inside of like psychologically inside of like a 6 to 7 year old's body. That's how it felt for a vast period of time. Still kind of, if I still feel old, even though I'm 19, I feel like grown as hell and old as hell. Like I know I've lived a long time, past life wise. Like my soul's lived a long time, but I'm like I just feel old, and it was like I just talked to various women and like see most times you'd be used to like the guys who are just like the relationships that are like 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 weeks and done, maybe 4 weeks and done. Like losing not taste but losing feelings for the person like over like quickly maybe like just changing mind, shifting energy, like just like that. Like I'd watch my brother like date one girl for a week, date another girl for 2 weeks, talk to one girl for a day or two. It was so quick and so fast paced, and I just was like, why? Because for me, it was more like I've always been the type that's like when I'm with you, I'm with you. Like I date to marry. I've always been like that. Always. Every girl I was with, I remember there was the first girl I was with whom no actually I was in pre-K when I had my first kiss. And the elementary school teacher, well, the preschool teacher, she was it preschool? No, I think it was daycare. Was it preschool? I don't know. I don't really recall. Maybe it was preschool. And the teacher, she did not like me and a certain one individual together because it's like she could tell that we just be doing things. um, and yeah, she could feel it. Like I remember I was going towards the girl. I was like what 5, and she just like was she purposely intentionally blocked us off from each other, like made it so that we went to different areas because she was like that isn't right. She was like I guess she had figured I guess because she was like probably in her 30s, in her late 30s, maybe early 30s, and she was like, yo, why is this 5-year-old kid or 6-year-old kid being so romantic and sexual? And like I guess you could feel my energy. That was really like a very direct grown man looking energy. And she just was like she gave me the eye one time. That's like, what the hell? I noticed it too. Oh my god, it was funny as hell. Um, but yeah, and continuing forth, yeah, no, my first relationship though, I I'll be straight up about it. I wrote my ex a message. I actually wrote her out a letter Yeah, like old school. Yeah, old school as hell. I wrote her a letter. Put it in. I was trying to find an envelope, and I found it, and wrote the letter, which literally was saying like I want to marry you, us have kids, and this. Like I literally was saying all that. I like third grade was like what 10, 11, and 12, 10 to 12. No, 9 and 10. Yes, thank you, 9 and 10. Um, sorry, my team was helping me with that one. 9 and 10 years old, and well, yeah, third, fourth grade was, yeah, 9 and 10. And when I gave her this message when we were in third grade, when I gave her the envelope, I said it was saying "I love you" so in her name, and with a heart. It Her dad saw the letter, read it, I think, and had her give it back to me. And her words to me about that he said was, apparently this is inappropriate for our age group. And I got to give it back to you because my dad was like, hell no. And I was like, oh, okay. And after that, I was like, interesting. And my mother, I don't know why I didn't, I guess I was embarrassed after I got off the bus with that letter. And yeah, I put it under the leaves before fall came. And then one day, I ended up seeing the letter at the bus stop, and I was really trying to contemplate where to put it. Mind you, I could have just put it in the trash can, but I wasn't really thinking like that. I was just like, I need to put it somewhere. I don't know where I can put it. And my mother ended up finding it. And she said something. What the hell did she say? She said, get it. She said you need to get it together. Something like that. Um, it was like she was scolding me for being in love, and I just was like, no, she said you know better, and I was like, what? I never comprehended those words of hers until I became, older. So I mean, more so like when I was 18 toward me turning 19, and I was just like, did my mother invalidate my feelings, knowing that my dad was a scumbag towards her for years? Really, really, and yeah, that really messed. That really kind of was like a what the f like moment for me. That was like, but kids can feel love too. Like what? But again, I've always been more advanced for my age to begin with, so I'm not really surprised. Um, that I was feeling such emotions, heavy emotions actually, because the funny thing to me, guys, was for me growing up, I'd feel all these heavy emotions, intense emotions that I never came across anyone my age ever from my entire journey when I was 15, 14, 13, 12, throughout the entire time. I never caught anyone feeling emotions so intense, so heavy like mine. Ever. Until I realized that I came to comprehend later on that I was an empath, and that, well, technically we're all empaths, but we can choose to feel and to negate energy if we choose to. But I decided to really become more aware of energy, and became understanding that I'm very sensitive towards energy, which is why, again, that's part of why I feel more than other people usually would feel, because I just, yeah. Um, but no, I was incredibly always a romantic individual, always trying to go towards women, and because of that, it really messed me up a lot because every woman I tried going towards was not attracted towards me at all, and I was just like, what the f. But when I look back at it, it's the concept. It's not that they were attracted towards me; it's just the concept. Well, that also yes, but also the concept of it wasn't meant for me. The universe and your guides know who's really for you and who's not for you. They won't pair you with someone who's going to be on some BS. They won't do that. Not even for the experience. They won't do that. So for me, it was more so the concept of none of them were on my level. Not a single one of them. Maybe they were cute. Maybe they had nice bodies. Sure, fine, cool. My team didn't care about that at all. Well, the individuals who were present at those periods of time did not care about such trivial factors. They looked at the concept of, hey, will she protect his heart? Because my team has always been protective of me, and if they can see through people, obviously, and know who the people are to a certain degree, the energies resonate with me, and I guess a lot of people didn't resonate with my energy, and so I was single for a vast period of time. Um, was really want I really wanted to be with someone heavily, to give someone my heart, to give someone all the energy and effort and love and affection I possibly could. I just wanted to do that so bad, so bad. And plus, I had to learn that when you're feeling a certain way within yourself, you don't really, at times when you don't really love yourself to a certain degree, you try to find others to give your love to, because you're not able to give it to yourself to a certain degree. So it's kind of like it's like a coping mechanism. So basically, it's like my way of coping with being bullied and being treated horribly was basically trying to find love from other individuals that wasn't happening. And plus, um, my parents were on a lot of literal bullshit throughout my journey. So I did not comprehend what it meant to love someone and be loved at all. Like, at all. All I knew was the concept of was a couple arguing, screaming at one another, cursing at one another, treating the other horribly, constantly arguing, no growth, no evolution, but quote unquote, 1 minute I love you, the next minute I hate you. 1 minute I love you, the next minute I hate you. That's all I knew for years due to my parents fighting whenever my dad was in the vicinity because he doesn't live with us at all. Never has, never. It never has, never will, I guess. Whatever the hell, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, because my dad was in Cali and we were in New Jersey and all. We've been in New Jersey for like all my journey. um, but because of such concepts and so on, it just was a huge power struggle. And I remember one girl I was talking to. And I bet you guys not quote myself. I told her, you can treat me like shit. You can curse me out. You can see this. You can physically hurt me. You can verbally hurt me, and I'll still love you. Yeah, that's really messed up for someone to say, right? Right? Yeah, I know. When I sent her that message, I I felt so confident about it, and I thought she was speechless after that. Nah, maybe speechless in a neck in a like in an appalled way, a very shocked way, like what the hell? But like, yeah, it was bad. I didn't learn what it really meant to be with someone, to really be in love with someone, to really treat them great and be treated great yourself until after I turned 18. No, when I was no being like I was comprehending that stuff more heavily when I was 17. Nope, my bad. Heart. Just lied to you guys. 16 and a half. So yeah. I didn't comprehend various things until I was 16 and a half years old. Um, but yeah, so to continue on, again, I had a massive thing with women. Very depressed, very lonely, all different factors. Online dating was actually a concept for me. Given what I came across, understanding was that I came across women whom I was into more so online than in person. I don't know why. It's always been like that. It's always been like that. And I've never met a person who I really dated like that, who didn't cheat on me, who didn't wait. That's a bloody lie. In person wise, I deal with a lot of cheating from other individuals towards me, a lot of taking advantage of me, lying, using me, and those individuals were practically in person. All of them, primarily speaking. There was one person who did that, which was nope, two people actually. My bad, two people, whom were two of my exes, which were online, and that was even though I was giving my all towards them, because again, I'm all in or I'm all out. That's how I've always been towards relationships. Um, but for as part of my journey, I was looked at as an individual whom was hard, and people thought I was just like a serious mean individual like that. Like no, I was never really. I was serious because I thought I had to be serious. That's just how I usually. That's and plus the bullying made me even more serious to really just have a huge guard up. Like I literally had to have thicker skin because everyone was bullying one another, especially me. Everyone was picking on me, so I had to I became the smiley child that I was with the smiling all the time and so on. Just died the hell out. Rather, I put that part of me away so that I could be protected, literally, at all times. So I became more serious. I began to look literally mean. Like I mean, I'll tell you guys straight up. I have a in all my pictures of for my student card stuff, whatever the hell. My latest one looks like a mugshot. Straight up, looks like a mugshot. um, it doesn't look good. Like I look at when I looked at it, I was like, huh, I look really serious. I look like I just got like I literally look like I just committed murder or something. What the hell? And yeah, no, it was not good. There was but then I comprehended that when it comes down to me, I have a habit with expressing myself. Huge habit with expressing myself, even when I don't want to. So it's like basically they say what you feel internally at times is represented externally. So if you feel sad inside, some people like myself show it externally through facial expression, through energy. Other people have a better job of hiding it. I no. But even with that being said, um, yeah, no. To continue on forth, um, I had a best friend, yes, Dakota, uh, whom again women looked at him more than they looked at me. And I was like, is that because he's white, or is that because of just like he just is attractive to you guys like that? um, Given my school is predominantly full of white people. Now, I'm not saying that as a racist terminology or anything like that. I'm just saying. But then again, tentatively speaking, you can take it however you want to take it. I'm just flowing. I don't need to really say or elaborate on detail towards some things. Um, but yeah, no, I just was like, wow. And I think it was one time that a woman she was so beautiful too. Um, she was thick. She was light skinned. She was she was so beautiful. And I was like, I was like feeling her like that. I don't, but her not, but just it was one sided, mind you. And remember, she asked him in front of me and another friend of mine if he was single and if he was like down to talk maybe, and he was like, sorry, but I'm not really into like black girls like that. And she was like she was like no, no, he's like no disrespect, but like I'm not really into black girls like that. And she was like, oh, I get you. And he was like, yeah. And I felt like I didn't feel embarrassed. partially I kind of did, certainly speaking, but I felt like degraded in a sense, and more so to the factor of looking at it like, what is it that he shows that I'm not showing? Like I don't get it, and that really made me feel even more upset within my own self, even more imbalanced because I was like, what the f, and we were talking to a person about it, and she was saying to me, it was actually his current partner, and she was saying to me something like, it's not really the best to have so many women like jumping at you and so on and so forth when you don't really feel them like that. And I was like, this come and see, I had to come and see. I paused and was like, you can say it's not the best to feel to really look at how things are for the other individuals, but when you're the person who's been bullied for years, depressed as hell, all different factors, women jumping at you left and right looks pretty good compared to no one trying to communicate with you in general, thinking you're a weirdo. So, and like when I expressed that to her, she just was like, "Well, yeah, I get that," and I was like, "No, you don't. I know you don't." And yeah, I think my one of my issues was people trying to understand me when they couldn't understand me to that sort of degree. But then I had to comprehend, no one's going to understand you but you. In truth, you can have your wife, you can have your partner, whatever degree, you can have your siblings. No one's going to truly understand you better than you do, and that is the highest factor I had. Maybe someone will. I've come across various people that I understand them better than they understand themselves, simply because I can just see into their lives and so on. And I can read people like crazy. But like generally speaking, taking that concept away, it's not. It's rare to come across someone who knows you better than you know yourself. It's rare, in my perspective, from what I've observed. Um, but yeah, no, that with that friend. Hold on, what's my phone at? Okay, gotcha. Um, with that friend of mine, that actually I just began to work out to. I didn't start doing yoga till later on, but I began to work out immensely because I just wanted to look physically attractive. And I was like working out, I was gonna do it. And it did. It did, but not entirely to a certain degree. I remember working out at after school for 4 to 6 hours a day just to look attractive to women. And the issue was I didn't love myself. I didn't. And I didn't know that when you don't love yourself and you're doing these things, like physical attraction is one thing, but actual attraction towards your energy and your actual being, the deeper depth of your being, that's an entirely different sensation. It truly is. So for me, it was more to the concept of, yeah, I'm getting more built and so on. Yeah, I'm looking like a tank, but how do I really feel with my own self? Not so good. I remember there was a girl whom I was talking to. Her name was Michelle, actually, and it was she was, I think she was a junior. I was like a sophomore, I think. Um, and it was she was so beautiful, and she was, I forget what the hell she was at. Wasn't Ohio? Nah, it was somewhere. Forget. Michigan, I think. I don't recall. And yeah, that period of time was like the best period of time towards her. That is, home wise, it was again, um, when your connection with your family isn't the best, which my connection with my family wasn't the best for years. it's not like, I mean, I'd pick on my little brother because pick on my little brother because I was picked on at school, so I looked at him as an easy target, basically. So that wasn't good. So I took in time I had to mend the connection between me and him because I was like, this it just needs to happen. Like we need to like patch things up because this is like what the f moment. Because I hated him, and it's because I love getting attention from my mother. I did, and I felt he took that away from me because I love getting attention. I love getting affection. I love getting love. I loved it all. I was a attention winning kid. I loved getting her attention. Um, always, always. And when I felt that was stripped away from me, I hated him. After that, I mean, I literally hate. Like, see, everyone says hate's a strong word. That was how I was feeling at the time. Like I despised his literal existence. Um, and it was my older brother was the one who was like, loving and so on of both of us, and I just was like, no, I hate this little kid. And I told him I was like, I don't fucking like you. And even in like it's horrible for me to say that to my older brother, right? It's horrible. But that's how I was feeling. That's just how things were until I was able to heal and release. And yeah, but in general speaking, getting back to things were not the best with me and my family. The connection was horrible. My older brother was horrible. Um, I just got out of concussion too, so my mother was already concussed as well. So things were even more horrible because I decided my freshman year. No, my was it my freshman year? My freshman year, yes, to play soccer, to play a sport because I thought sports attracted women. I tried various ways to attract women towards me until I learned that that's when it comes to being in love, when it comes to being with someone, just by being happy and just living your life and just doing you, you'll attract whoever you're meant to attract towards you. Energies resonate with certain energies, so it's like you're so built on your physical attraction, this and that and this. You're not work and you're not comprehending your inner being and things you need to heal and things you need to physically work on, externally and internally. Then it's like, what the hell are you doing with yourself? Simply, physical attraction isn't everything. Never has been everything, but some people are so tripped about so stuck in them, I guess, matrix of the thought of, okay, physical attraction is physical attraction, that my ass, my tits, my chest, my muscles, work out, which is not to keep your body in shape, but something else when you're literally just looking at the physical features, the physical vessel of your body, and not the internal interior of your being. Because there are so many damaged individuals out there who just work out, but never tend to their internal self. Ever ever, ever. Um, but yeah, to continue on though, yeah, no, she was. I remember talking to her about moving out of my house when I was like 18. Speaking of the future, as if we'd still be talking at that in like the next 2 years, and I remember her saying like, I mean, I could ask my parents about you coming to live with us. Like I could ask them like when the time comes, and I was like, would you really? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, huh, that's lovely, thank you. And I had a configuration sheet, I think, for me. So I had a configuration, and it was thing as energies just resonated with one another. Playful, hot, relaxed, chilled out, nothing forced, nothing, just all natural. And yeah, no, it was wonderful, my perspective at least. And yeah, things were with her, it was a blast. I do remember there was a time where I was working out back when I used to work out heavily, and it's my brother. It's my brother coming back home now. And what actually occurred is when I'm with someone, I get very attached, right? I mean, incredibly attached, like almost obsessively. it doesn't. I don't think it even matters where my evolution is to a certain degree. Like I think it partially mattered that I was like very unevolved within my own being, but I became obsessively attached to a certain degree, and there was a day where we were just snapping back and forth. I don't know what the hell we were talking about though. I don't know what the hell we were doing. I don't even know what we were texting about. I don't know. But what I do recall is I gave Dakota my phone, my friend, my ex friend, my phone. Um, and I was like, hold this, and he was like, why? And I told him like, I said straight, I'm like, if I don't give you my phone, I'm not going to be able to get this workout in. He was like, really? And I'm like, I'm too focused on it, replying to her on time, quote unquote, like literally immediately, as fast as possible. Like if let me say this, if I didn't reply to someone that I really was into, like maybe in a minute or two, if I didn't reply to them in like in 10 minutes, if I saw that my snap said 10 minutes sent 10 minutes ago, I felt so bad, like it was horrible. And I was like, bro, if I don't give you my phone, I'm not gonna be able to focus. I need you to take my phone, like right now. And even as he took, even if even as he agreed to take my phone from me after the workout was done, I was like, "All right, get my phone now." And then I saw she sent me a text or whatever message, and I was like, wait a second, 5 minutes ago. In my mind, I'm like, literally, that's how I was feeling. Like that's how much I was inclined to someone. But I was really just yeah. Um, but anyways, continuing forth, yeah, so that was a period of my life. Um, I spoke to various women, lied to one, so that made things worse. Um, hmm, I've always spoken to somewhat attractive women, well, except for the first experience, that which was horrible. Hmm, interesting. Um, but besides that, though, um, after when I hit in high school towards my say entering 16, well, my bad, 16 and a half, I met my ex. I did what actually what I was, I think my teammate configured me to do, which basically was to talk to like four girls at once at a period of time, because something I tended to do was talk to one girl, and then when things went haywire, it just was like, what the F? So they were like, talk to like more than one woman at the same time and like see where things go, which wasn't an unhealthy idea, but wasn't the best idea. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a very sympathetic person. I really am. I really feel for people. I really feel bad for people. I really feel for people heavily, given my abilities and on sensitivity. So when it comes down to things, it's like, say you were digging me, and I was digging, or rather say you resonate with my energy immensely, right? And you're really feeling me, and I was feeling you too. When it came down to things, it's like if I was to as what actually occurred was I was talking to one girl, and she was really feeling me, like, and I was feeling her too. And then my ex came about, and I was feeling her a lot more. And what happened is when I started dating my ex, I like have this habit of like cutting everyone the hell off. Like I mean, just I don't talk to anyone else any bloody more. I don't. Um, and I felt bad because the one girl was really feeling me like that, and I was like, yeah. And I just was like, my team just said to me, or was it my higher self? Was it my higher self? Yes, it was. was saying to me something in the cohorts of, you feel bad. That's understandable, but comprehend things cannot be helped. You don't really owe them an explanation at all. Just move as you see fit, which is like horrible in some perspectives, but like can't be helped, right? Um, but she was my ex was the first witch I ever dated, the first witch I ever dated, ever, and the experience with her was interesting, kind of magical, but it just in our relationship things were we had thought in our minds that it would be like a fantasy, like basically that things would be perfect, and neither of us would make mistakes, everything would be balanced. But that's not how relationships work. Is that no? There's balance to a certain degree, yes, but there's bound to be arguments. There's bound to be debates. There's bound to be discussions. There's bound to be mistakes that are made. There's bound to be a lot of learning lessons that occur. There's bound to be all five of those things that I spoke of. Literally, we had thought things would be perfect. No, no relationship is perfect. I'm sorry, if you say your relationship is perfect, then you are like smoking something. I don't know what you mean be smoking. I don't know how your psyche may be. No relationship is ever going to be perfect. No one is ever going to be perfect. Ever. Everyone has their own flaws. Everyone is unique in their own way. And simply, everyone is always constantly evolving, progressing in their own way towards their own journey. Everyone. Continue on. When I was with her, things were, I guess you could say, interesting. Oh, so I learned a lot. I did. I learned an immense amount from her, and I think one time she was saying that my on her level, and I think part of me was saying, "Then why are you with me then?" But then the other part, but then there was a time where cause she was kind of like doubting me in a sense, like my mind, like how much, where I was within my own being. And I told her, I was like, I have my high levels of intelligence. I do. My levels of wideness, my levels of creativity, open mindedness, and so on. But as I told her, and I quote this, I don't like to go to really do such things and really open myself up like that because it drains so much energy from me. It leaves me drained and tired. So I'm not used to being in like my level, high levels of intelligence and creativity. I'm not used to being in such realms of energy. I'm not. Or as well as expressing and like releasing such extensions of energy as well. I'm not used to it. So, with that being said, I just went towards. I remember I wrote a paragraph or something, elaborating, detailing, explaining something, and she, the person who was more intelligent than I, quote unquote, was stumped. Like she did not know what the hell to do. She was like, "Whoa, I don't know what to say to that." And my higher self was like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm." So that was interesting, and I told her like, "Yeah." When it comes down to it, at times I'll tell you straight up, like my issue, even till now, is at times is having all this creativity, having all this brilliance inside of me, and not knowing how to release it. Having the intelligence to preach, but not knowing how to word things. So when it came down to things, I did not know how to properly word things to a certain degree, yes, or rather how to release my energy in a very productive way. That was also an issue at hand. Now to continue on, things with her were rocky, uh, on and off. But given she was an Aquarius, what I learned recently is, um, when it comes to Aquarius and Scorpio placements, if you're a Scorpio sun dealing with an Aquarius sun, you two will rock off one another like a mofo. What I mean by or bounce off one another. What I mean by that is at times Aquarius will shadow the Scorpio. At times Scorpio will shadow the Aquarius. So what happened with me and her was when she was low, I was high. When she was high, I was low. That's like the best way to word it. Like when I was happy, she was sad. When she was sad, I was happy. Wait, when I was happy, she was sad. When I was sad, she was happy. There we go. Um, and it just wasn't good. No balance. She was toxic. She had things to heal. She had things to release. I had things to heal and release. But I was the only one trying to make things work. So on and so forth. That things ended. Codependency was a concept at hand. I learned codependency is horrible. Horrible. And the love you really have towards someone is always found within the things such as love, care, support, um, all the good affection, attention, all that good stuff that you give to others. You give to yourself first. You give to yourself these things first before you give towards anyone else. You comprehend what it means to give yourself love, affection, attention, support, and then you give these things to other people when your glass is already full. We didn't comprehend these things at all. So our relationship basically was just, it was great to a certain degree, but just a downhill turn. And plus the concept of her living 30 minutes away wasn't really an issue, but the concept of having a brother who was narcissistic as hell at the time was a huge issue, given, yes, money wasn't the best at the time, but when you have a narcissistic, controlling, well, partially selfish and controlling older sibling, it doesn't help things at all. At all. And so the mother had said to me something in the cohorts of, when you're driving, you make the rules. And I was like, and she was like, you'll see how you end up dealing with people. And I was like, and then I told my brother, little brother, I said to him, Irie, he was like, yeah, I'm like, when I'm driving, if there's somewhere you want to go, if there's a girl you want to go see, just let me know. And I'll do it. I'll do my best to drive you to see them if I'm able to do so. Literally. And because I was like, my mind, because I looked at my mom and she was like, you're going to be the same as your brother. And I'm like, no. Because I looked at her and I'm like, no, because when it comes to understanding people, which I do heavily, I look past the concept of my own decisions and, well, perspective and selfishness. I do. And I was like, my brother knew I barely saw my ex. My brother was, to a certain degree, aware that we just would FaceTime and text all the time. He was aware of that. He was aware that she was barely around. He was aware that he barely saw her. So the times that I was like, "Yo, could you like drive her home?" or "Yo, I could we go pick her up?" or something like that, and he'd just be looking at gas. I just look at him like, "Dude, but you're you and your partner, like, I comprehend she drives, you drive, and you get his gas money, but like you can like I barely see this girl. So could you like have like the compassion in your heart to do so, please?" And it was just not happening. So that was like a what the F moment from like for like a good 2 years or a good year at least. And the times that he would oblige, he'd be pissed off about it because he didn't feel like driving. So, and I didn't really communicate like that. I didn't know how to really use my throat chakra to really express myself like that or really point things out. I was more so the type to like say things last minute, literally, or say things when I was going to explode, and so on. So yeah, it was all trial and progress, but yeah, it was towards even to this day. When other people ask about my relationships, I say to them, the one good relationship I'd say I had, partially had, um, my brother was a complete asshole towards that whole occurrence. That even his girl at the time was like, well, not at the time, even his girl, currently speaking, was like on his side, like this and that and this, and I'm just like, bro, that's very, I suppose I had to comprehend everyone is different. Not everyone's gonna look at things the way you look at things. Some people look at things in a more selfish way. Some people look at things in a more giving way. It varies from person to person. So yeah, I was more of the concept that's like, yo, shouldn't it be a problem? That's not how they were thinking. So yeah, everyone is different. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. Now, this video I need to end this soon. Um, so to continue on my own journey, I do yoga now. So that's something. I've been doing yoga for about a year since I was 18. Started doing it outside. It was like summer and all. Whenever it was warm, I do yoga outside. Um, there was actually, hold on a second. Those stabs you see over there. So one is from a friend of mine, who was like, "Here you go. This is the brown one," and the tanner one you see behind it, that was from my uncle. That staff he had I forgot how you do the whole staff procedure to make them look all good and all, but yeah, he had that thing like done, and he passed it down to me, and I was like, all right, cool. And when it was warm, I'd be outside training and really just express my creativity. Um, when it got colder, I obviously went inside and was like, "Nah, screw that." So they've been sitting there for a while, but yes, he look like the Monkey King, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, Wukong, huh?" What was it, Son Goku? I think it is. But yeah, and what happened later on in my journey, um, after me and my ex broke up due to me just being done with her bullshit, I was what? I was depressed for a while, given I depended on her for various things. I was very codependent, very, until I was like, it took me a while. Like, I mean, I literally lost it after we broke up. Went through a lot of healing, immense healing, and then I think we tried getting back together, which didn't work out at all. And then I got heavy into spirituality, heavy. Um, I realized I was an empath. Rather, I was very sensitive to energy. And I tried speaking to my mom about it. She made it about herself. Hold on a second. I'm thirsty as hell. Okay, that's better. I try. Yeah, I only drink primarily water. I do not like juice. Um, so yes, I tried speaking to my mom about things, and she made it about herself. And I was just like, I was trying to speak about what I've been feeling, my abilities as far that I've come to comprehend, and she's made it all about herself. And I guess I comprehended, and she was like, okay, so I'm not alone in this, and I can like talk to my son about this now, and like so on. But I just still was like, I'm very excited to talk to you about this, and yet you're just making it about all about you. What? And then I just was like, I'm not, I'm done, I'm just done talking to you about this stuff now. um, and so I closed up to with my mother yet again. Um, and I think I got heavy into smoking when I got heavy into spirituality. But it was more so the context of, excuse me, after me and my ex was broken up, I was incredibly depressed, of course, as I said before. And I did not want to live. I wanted to kill myself. I planned on it actually. I planned on when I would do it, how I would do it. I wrote out a whole letter, everything. Um, and Then when yeah, um, I guess my team, my guides, and the universe configured. Okay, we need him to live. So for that to happen, we need to do do anything by any means necessary. So for 2 months straight, I was just being smoked up by friends who were energy vampires. For 2 months straight, they just come over to my house, either like drive over or just walk over, by whatever means, and just smoke me up for 2 months straight. I was high every single day. Even not even non energy vampire friends would come over and smoke me up, knowing that I was feeling low, feeling very depressed, like literally just to keep me alive. Because I knew otherwise, if I wasn't high, I was going to kill myself or cut myself. Um, I cut a lot actually, sadly. Um, to the point where I did not comprehend that when you're outside at late ass hours of the night, you are going to attract, as well as on some low vibrations, you're going to attract some beings towards you. So for a period of time, as I was going through Kundalini awakening, I was being attacked, or rather, I was attracting different beings around me, having different beings coming inside of the house, and two, I was then being attacked by a negative entity that again, some beings really do not care for your well-being. They just want to kill you or want to harm you in whichever way possible. And yeah, and in return, continuing forth, I sooner or later was possessed by a demon. Actually, I remember being outside, and I remember seeing like flies, like the same flies. And it's funny because people be like, "What do you mean the same flies?" I mean, like it literally, I could feel it was the same flies every day around my feet, or rather, very similar flies. Like their energetical frequency was like almost the same. I could just tell they were like the same beings, and they were just like around my feet all the time, around my legs. Not trying to really bug me, just doing their own thing. And a friend of mine would look at me like, bro, they're nasty. Like, what the hell? And I was like, who cares? We don't have any food out. They're not trying to get on any food. They're just on my skin. Who cares? But I just take an interest in not in a positive way, but kind of like, why are they at my feet? Why are they around me and no one else? What the hell's going on right now? Like specifically at my feet, and they didn't have to be. They chose to be. And but then it kind of makes sense because flies are around things that are dead or dying. Right, well, right, yeah, dead things or things are like dying out and so on. So like it makes sense given I was like thinking about killing myself and I was technically speaking killing my body with the concept of I wasn't even eating much food at that point in time. Not anymore. Um, so that was not good at all. And became possessed by a demon. I won't say the demon's name. I know its name. And well, his name. And I won't say it though. I had to go through a whole healing process. Heavily got into yoga. As I said before. Um, and then something happened that really triggered me, my experience. My best friend dying. I put this in another video, but I'm just gonna put it out now. Cause like, why the hell not? Um, nah, I'm not gonna talk about that one yet. I should put that in another video, dealing with death. Um, but yeah, my best friend passed, and I learned how she passed, not by anyone telling me, but just by my intuition and my other divination tools. And give me a second. So yeah. Um, yeah, I can't really talk about that one yet. A year has passed. No, 2 years have passed. And still, wow, interesting. It still hurts just talking about. But yeah, and yeah. So continuing on, I got into divination, pendulums, which I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was learning a lot about pendulums, due to my mother. But then I also had to comprehend from my journey that one, parents and grandparents have an issue with projecting bullshit onto their kids and the family. I thought that it was horrible to speak about my abilities and what I could do and couldn't do. But when it comes down to it, your abilities are part of who you are. Literally. Me being able to be telepathic, me being able to feel energy, me being able to speak to my team, speak to other beings, travel through the astral plane, that's part of who I am. My family was telling me, my grandmother, my mother, they were telling me to not embrace my own self, my abilities. Literally. Throughout a vast period of my life. And when I got older to the point of like 18, I began to really express myself as vividly as possible. I began to really tell people through Snapchat, primarily speaking, about my abilities, what I could do, what I couldn't do, and so on. My brother would look at me very differently. I looked at him like, why the hell should I care about what anyone else is going to think? Why should I keep myself hidden? Why should I not let myself be free? By me not explaining my abilities, by me not being myself, what am I doing then? I'm being a character in someone else's story. I'm hiding behind a facade. I want to be real. If I'm not being real, I'm being fake. Simply. And I'm like, I'd rather be real than be on some BS. And my brother was kind of coming to comprehend that. And I was like, yeah, like there's no issue in telling people what you can do and what you can't do. They don't know you. It's entertainment at that point. And if you're being real, you're being real. Some people can tell if you're being truthful. Some people can tell if you're lying or not. I wasn't lying at all. People could tell that. So when it came down to things, I just spoke. I preached this and that and this. The more enlightened I became, guys, the more I began to preach to the best of my ability. Even getting on YouTube, doing this was not easy. Starting YouTube was not easy. It wasn't. I was very afraid to a certain degree. If I could do it, I couldn't do it. And then I was like, screw it, I'm gonna just do it. Like, I'm gonna just do it. I'm not gonna think about it heavily. I'm just going to do it. And I did it. Now I'm doing this now. um, but yeah, I quit my back end job. I got heavier into spirituality. Got another job. Started doing tarot reading. Um, Started doing energy work. Started using sage and so on. Um, I think one day I'm gonna show you guys some of my stuff. Actually, well, I'll show you guys my sound bowl. So this is my sound bowl right here. Small, yes, but it's does its job. Actually, hold on. I'll play a little thing for you guys. Hopefully, you set up the energy. Hold on. So So yeah. So that's my sound bowl. Bought that off Amazon. I have a whole thing of like candles and so on that I acquired. That I'll show you guys like later on. I might do a tour about like rubbing it all later on in time, just to like really show you guys me, like me. um, and really introduce you guys really more so into my life that I have before. Um, yeah, no, everything's been a challenge. I'll say that at least. Um, yeah, no, tarot. I got into that, and then I finally resolved things with my ex. I can't. I thought my ex was a twin flame. I learned a lot in my journey, guys. Truth. The last things I'll say was that are that towards twin flames, I learned that I think this is better. Yeah. Hey, right about. Yeah, right here. I learned towards twin flames that I'll say this once and only once. Twin flames are not the connection between you and someone else. It is not an external connection like that. It never has been. I don't know who the hell made it that who made it or said it, that it was an external sort of relationship. No, your twin flame is literally the connection between you and your higher self. Literally, I had to ask my higher self like to confirm this, and he was like, "Yeah, it's true." Like it's never been towards you and someone external. Never, ever. So that's actually what twin flame connection is. Um, what happened? Then there's the concept of the soulmate, which basically you can have various soulmates. You can have platonic soulmate, which could be your best friend. You could have a soulmate who's your romantic soulmate, which is your partner. So you can have various soulmates in this lifetime. Um, so that's something I had to learn. Your karmic relationships, which basically is like literally a soulmate in a sense, but different. Except given a karmic relationship is basically where you're learning heavy lessons from that person, and they disappear when the lesson is meant to be learned, and so on. The soulmate is like kind of the same in a sense, but different. Where you two are growing heavily and don't just leave when they're meant to leave or something like that. They do, but like it's entirely different. Karmic is literally like you're learning from the relationship between you and the person heavily. Soulmate thing is like just really a flow of things, not really to learn much, but like just to experience things. Um, Now the last thing I'll say towards my journey, um, because after all that, I did lose a bunch of friends, but I don't really look at it as a loss. I don't the people I've lost, I don't really care for at this point in time. I look at it as if you're in my journey, you're my journey. If you're not, you're not. I'm not gonna keep anyone in that isn't meant to be kept in. Whoever falls out, falls out. Whoever stays in, stays in. That's how I look at things at this point in time. Um, I don't really do things as I used to do before. I'm more expressive. I've really evolved from how I used to be. Um, no longer depressed, incredibly happy, but still having to journal more times than less now. I love to meditate. Actually, uh, I'm in a meditative position right now. If I, yeah, yeah. Hold on. Actually, my bed. Actually, I'll show this. So when I was like, okay, I want things to be different, so I went ahead and just changed out my bed sheets, got some new stuff, and was like, I like this bed sheet, even though I've like literally burned up some of the parts of the material due to sage. Well, not sage incense. I learned actually that white sage is not to be used when it comes down to. Yes, that's better. Um, Actually, wait a second. Yeah, why is it not to be used if you're not of the native indigenous heritage or background?